Hey everybody, welcome back. Are you ready to dive into something truly amazing with us?
I am.
Because today we're talking about the Antikythera Mechanism.
Yeah.
And if that name doesn't ring a bell, don't worry, because we're going to
Yeah.
break down exactly
Yeah.
what this thing is and just why it is so incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So, to put it simply,
Yep.
the Antikythera Mechanism is an ancient Greek analog computer.
Right.
It was found over a century ago, and it's still baffling scientists and historians to this day.
It is. It really is.
So we've been poring over all sorts of fascinating stuff, articles, research papers, even video interviews with experts
Wow.
to try to piece together just what this thing is all about.
That's great.
So get ready to have your minds blown wide open because we're about to go deep
Okay.
into the mystery of the Antikythera Mechanism.
I'm ready.
All right, so picture this. It's the year 1900. We're off the coast of the Greek island of Antikythera.
Okay.
And a group of sponge divers, they stumble upon a Roman-era shipwreck. They're probably expecting the usual, pottery statues, maybe some old coins.
Right.
But what they find is something far more valuable and far more mysterious.
Way more.
It was this corroded lump of bronze that looked like a jumbled mess of gears and plates.
Like a clock that had a really rough couple of thousand years.
Exactly. At first glance, nobody had any clue what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Some thought it was a navigation tool, maybe a fancy astrolabe. But as researchers started to look closer, they realized this was no ordinary artifact.
Yeah. It was much more complex.
It was something truly extraordinary.
Way more.
Now imagine trying to solve a 3D jigsaw puzzle, but half the pieces are missing and the rest are covered in barnacles.
Hard to do.
That's basically the challenge that faced the early researchers trying to understand the Antikythera Mechanism.
It really was.
It was broken into 82 separate fragments,
Oh, wow.
and it was heavily corroded from centuries spent at the bottom of the sea.
Right.
So how did they even begin to crack this ancient code?
I know. It's amazing.
Well, it took decades. And the development of some pretty sophisticated technology.
I bet.
X-rays and CT scans were finally able to peer beneath the surface of those corroded fragments
Oh, wow.
and reveal the secrets hidden within.
That's amazing.
And what they found, well, it was mind-blowing to say the least.
I bet.
The Antikythera Mechanism turned out to be an incredibly complex and sophisticated device.
Really?
Dozens of precisely cut bronze gears,
Wow.
all interlocking and working together to track the movements of the sun, the moon, the planets.
Oh, wait.
This thing was light years ahead of its time. A
Incredible.
level of precision engineering that wouldn't be seen again for over 1,000 years.
1,000 years.
Yeah, it makes you question everything you thought you knew about the ancient world.
It really does.
Like finding a working smartphone in a medieval castle. It just doesn't compute,
That's a good analogy.
right?
Yeah.
Just shatters our preconceived notions about what ancient civilizations were capable of.
Absolutely. And we're just getting started.
I know. We've only just begun to scratch the surface
Right.
of this ancient enigma.
I'm excited to hear more.
Me too.
Me too. Okay, so we've talked about how shocking this discovery was, but how did this thing actually work?
I know, right? Like, how did they manage to fit the entire cosmos into a box the size of a shoebox?
Well, you have this box, right? And on the front, it has this face with all these dials and pointers.
Like a really, really fancy clock.
Yeah. But instead of hours and minutes, these dials are tracking the sun and the moon and even the planets.
Hold on, so you're telling me they could track all that with just this one device?
Oh, yeah. And there's more. There's even a mechanism that shows the phases of the moon.
Whoa, slow down. How do they even...
It was this little ball, half black and half silver, that would rotate to show you what the moon would look like.
That is so cool. But okay, wait, how do they even know where everything should go?
The Antikythera Mechanism wasn't just about looks. It was based on some seriously advanced astronomy for the time. All those dials and pointers were driven by this intricate system of gears.
Gears. Like in a clock.
Yeah, but these gears were tiny and precise. Each tooth was carefully crafted by hand. The way they all fit together, it's like a work of art.
Okay, that's starting to make a little more sense. But how did they know how fast each planet should be moving?
Well, the ancient Greeks already understood a lot about how the planets moved. They knew they moved in cycles, and they were able to build that knowledge into the mechanism.
So they basically programmed the gears to move with the planets. That's incredible.
And there's even more. They left us inscriptions on the mechanism, thousands of tiny little characters.
Wait, what? Inscriptions?
Yeah.
Like instructions?
Not quite, although that would have been nice. These inscriptions were incredibly detailed. They labeled the dials with the names of the planets and the zodiac signs, even constellations.
Wow, so it's like they left us a cheat sheet for the entire cosmos.
Exactly. And the level of detail is amazing. They even included stuff like the Metonic cycle and the Saros cycle.
The what and the what now?
The Metonic cycle, it's basically a 19-year cycle that matches up the solar year with the lunar month. It's important for making accurate calendars. And the Saros cycle, it's about 18 years and 11 days, after which the pattern of eclipses repeats.
Hold up, so you're saying they knew that eclipses happen in patterns?
It really is mind-blowing. And the fact that they included these cycles on the Antikythera Mechanism shows just how advanced their understanding of astronomy was.
This is starting to sound less like history and more like science fiction. Did the ancient Greeks have like their own version of NASA?
We can't say for sure, but the Antikythera Mechanism definitely points to a level of knowledge that we're only just starting to grasp.
This is already more than I could have ever imagined, but wait until you hear what's on the back of this thing. All right, so we've got this front face that tracks the sun and the moon, and the planets even shows at the phases of the moon. We've got these inscriptions that are like a cheat sheet for the cosmos, but then you flip this thing over and things get even crazier.
You're telling me the back of the Antikythera Mechanism has 2 more dials, each with a spiral groove and a pointer. And one of these dials was a calendar.
A calendar, so they could like schedule their dentist appointments and stuff?
Probably not. But it did track the days and the months and even included leap years.
Wow. So they had a fully functioning calendar system built into this thing. That's incredible. What about that other dial, though?
Now, this is where it gets really wild. The second dial on the back was designed to predict eclipses.
Eclipses? You mean they could actually tell when eclipses were going to happen?
Yep, both lunar and solar eclipses.
That's insane. They must have seemed like total wizards back then.
It would have been mind-blowing to see this thing in action. Remember that Saros cycle we talked about?
The one that predicts when eclipses will repeat.
Exactly. Well, this dial on the Antikythera Mechanism was basically a physical representation of that cycle. You could turn the crank and follow the pointer, and it would show you exactly when and where eclipses would occur.
Hold on. So they built a machine that could predict events centuries in advance. This is starting to sound less like ancient history and more like something out of Star Trek. Were the ancient Greeks time travelers? Did they have some kind of secret knowledge that we've lost?
It's a mystery that still has researchers scratching their heads. But here's the thing. As amazing as the Antikythera Mechanism is, it wasn't some kind of fluke.
What do you mean?
The level of sophistication, the engineering, the astronomical knowledge, it all suggests that there must have been a tradition of building these kinds of devices.
So you're saying there might be other Antikythera mechanisms out there just waiting to be discovered?
I think it's definitely possible. I mean, this one device survived for over 2,000 years at the bottom of the sea. Who knows what else might be out there?
That's a good point. Okay, so let's get back to the device we know exists.
Yeah.
The big question is, who built this thing and why?
Well, the short answer is we don't know for sure.
Come on, there have to be at least some theories.
Well, one of the most popular theories is that the Antikythera Mechanism was connected to Archimedes.
Archimedes? Like the guy who jumped out of the bathtub and shouted, Eureka!
The very same. He was a brilliant mathematician, inventor, and astronomer.
So Archimedes built it. Mystery solved.
Not so fast. The Antikythera Mechanism is actually dated to after Archimedes died, so he couldn't have built it himself.
Okay, so maybe not Archimedes directly, but maybe his students?
It's possible that his work inspired later generations of inventors and that his ideas were passed down eventually, leading to the creation of the Antikythera Mechanism.
That makes sense. But why would they build something so complex in the first place? Was it just show off?
There are a few theories about that. Some think it was primarily used for teaching to demonstrate complex astronomical concepts to students.
Like a really fancy ancient Greek textbook.
Exactly. Others think it might have been more of a luxury item, a status symbol for wealthy people who wanted to possess the most advanced knowledge of the cosmos.
The ultimate conversation starter at an ancient Greek dinner party.
Right. And of course, we can't forget about astrology. It was a big part of their culture, and a device that could predict eclipses and planetary movements would have been seen as incredibly valuable.
It's amazing to think about all the possibilities this one device has really opened up a window into the past.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you realize that there's still so much that we don't know about the ancient world.
Absolutely. The Antikythera Mechanism is a powerful reminder that our understanding of history is always evolving. New discoveries can completely change how we view the past.
So what's the takeaway here? The Antikythera Mechanism is more than just a cool gadget. It's a testament to the ingenuity and curiosity of the ancient Greeks, and a reminder that there are still countless mysteries out there waiting to be uncovered.
Who knows what other incredible discoveries are waiting for us? If something like this could be created over 2,000 years ago, just imagine what other secrets might be hidden beneath the waves or buried beneath the earth.
This has been an amazing journey exploring the Antikythera mechanism. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired.
Me too. It makes you wonder what other technological marvels are out there just waiting to be found.
And if you're as fascinated by this kind of stuff as we are, be sure to check out the Mystery Universe podcast for more deep dives into the world's unexplained phenomena and ancient mysteries. You won't want to miss it.
Oh,